Beruchim haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Kuf Lamed Aleph, Amud Aleph, 10 lines from the top. Our Mishnah stated when it comes to a bris milah, the 8th day on Shabbos, milah bizmana, oisin kol tzarchei milah b'Shabbos. And Rabbi Eliezer explains that to me, not just the bris milah itself, but including all of the things that surround the performance of the bris milah can also be done on Shabbos, which is called machshirei milah. Does that klal include all other things, all other mitzvahs that have to be done on Shabbos? Does it also include to be then doing the machshirei mitzvah or not? Says the Gemara, Rabbi Chia bar Abba, Rabbi Yochanan, Loi lekol Omar Rabbi Eliezer, machshirei mitzvah doichenes haShabbat. Rabbi Eliezer did not say this as a klal for all mitzvahs. So now first Gemara will explain where we know that he didn't say all mitzvahs, and he's going to say what are those mitzvahs that are not included in this klal, as follows. Shaharei shtei halechem choivas hayom hein. There's a mitzvah of bringing shtei halechem on Pesach. That means to say on Shavuos rather, of a chita, and that is leavened. So there begins the second day of Pesach, a korban oimer. That's brought with sa'ara, with barley. And that's called the korban oimer. And 7 weeks later, which is the 50th day, is going to be then on Shavuos, and that's going to be when you bring the shtei halechem. So it states over here, Sharei shtei halechem choivas hayom hein. If that day comes out to be on Shabbos, you will then bring the korban of shtei halechem. However, and also the machshirei, but v'lo l'meidin Rabbi Eliezer ela migzeira shava. He doesn't learn from his klal, but he has to learn it from a gzeira shava. The Tanya, Rabbi Eliezer oimer, minayin lemachshirei shtei halechem shedochen hashav. Where do we know that if indeed Shavuos comes out to be on Shabbos, we would still bake the shtei halechem, even though it's a malacha of bishul afiyah? Nemra, it states, havo be'oimer, v'nemra havo b'shtei halechem. I want to read you the two psukim. It states the word havo, bringing in regards to oimer, also states the word havo, bringing in regards to the shtei halechem. One pasuk in regards to the oimer says, usfartim lochem yimocharas hashabos, miyom havi'achem. Es oimer tnufa sheva shabos et mosiyena. That's the pasuk in regards to oimer, where it says bringing, haviyachem. In regards to shtei halechem, it states, Amirachas hashabos hashvis tismu chamishim yom v'hikravtem mincha chadosh al Hashem mimishvoseichem tavi'u lohem tnufa shtayim shnei asronim soilas tiyena chametz tefona bikurim laHashem. So the Bryce explains, Ma havo hamura ba'oimer. Rabbi Eliezer says, just as it states hava in regard to the oimer, and that's machshirin doichenes haShabbos. There, when it comes to the oimer, one can be koitzer, one needs to be koitzer the barley, and even toichen the barley, grind it, and all do another malach of sifting it. That all is done on Pesach, on Pesach, when it's supposed to then be brought for the korban oimer. So those are machshirin. Af havo hamura b'shtei halechem machshirin doichenes haShabbos. Then so too the havo that we learn a gzeira shava from the korban oimer is also coming to teach us that the hechsherei mitzvah of the shtei halechem, which means baking the shtei halechem, would also be permissible on Shabbos. The Gemara points out, it makes the following observation: this gzeira shava is mufnei. Mufnei means that it's open, meaning to say that the psukim that we're learning the gzeira shava from is open in the sense that they're superfluous, whereby it's the strongest type of gzeira shava when you learn from one pasuk that is superfluous, that has one word, and you have another pasuk that is also superfluous, which has the same word, where you learn out a gzeira shava one from the next. It's called its mufnei. The Eloi mufne, because if it was not mufne, it didn't have this strong mufne. And the mufne means that if it's such a powerful gzeira shava of mufne, you cannot then mafrich the gzeira shava. You can ask a question on it. It's something that's considered to be foolproof. The Eloi Mufne, because if it was not Mufne, then Ika Lemifra, you would be able to ask the following question. Ma lo oimer shekain im motza kitzur koitzer, just as when it comes, there's a chumrah when it comes to the oimer. The oimer is such that if you did not have the grain, the barley already cut, then it wasn't cut lishma, that is, then you have to harvest it yourself lishma. So that's a special din when it comes to the oimer. Toimer b'shtei alechem she'im motza kotzer eno kotzer. When it comes to shtei alechem, there's not such a requirement. If it was already harvested, already cut, there wouldn't be a mitzvah to then go ahead and cut the grain. So therefore, we see that when it comes to the oimer, there's a uniqueness, and the uniqueness is that there's a mitzvah of cutting lishma. So Gemara says, li'i afnui mufni. Indeed, it is mufni, like we said before, and therefore it's the strongest type of kal v'chayim, gzera shava, and you can ask a pircha on. Michtik siv, since it states, v'heveisim es oimer reishis kisirchem alakoyin. There's another pasuk that states, Daber b'nei Yisrael, and this pasuk comes before the pasuk that we quoted. V'amarta alem ki tavoyu el ha'aretz asher ani nosein lochem uksartem es ktsiro v'heveisem es oimer reishis ksirchem alakoyin. So here it states, v'heveisem es oimer reishis ksirchem alakoyin, which is superfluous, right? You don't have to say, we don't have to then add the other pasuk that we said before. Miyom haviyechem lamali. Once we have this pasuk that we just quoted now, which comes before, then why does it say miyom haviyachem? That's a superfluous pasuk. It already tells you when you're coming. Elamai, we see that it was superfluous, and therefore it's the strongest type of kavachim, which is called mufne, gzera shava rather, which is called mufne. Shmamina lafnuye. Ask the Gemara, that's true when it comes to the oimer. The pasuk in the oimer, it's true as superfluous as we just proved. And therefore it's mufne from the tzad of the pasuk of the oimer. V'akati mufne mitzad echadhu. However, it's only mufne from this tzad, from the pasuk of the oimer. But the pasuk of shtei alechem, there is not superfluous. V'shamina leila Rabbi Eliezer, the Omar, and we heard that Rabbi Eliezer himself says, mufne mitzad echad lemeidim umeshivin. If you have a Gzera Shava that's only mufna mitzad echad, then you could ask a pircha on the Gzera Shava. And we just made a pircha by saying that when it comes to the oimer, there you'd have to cut it lishma. And therefore that's different than it comes to the shtei alechem, which if you found it already harvested, then you don't cut it again, even if it wasn't harvested lishma. The Gemara answers, no, taviyu. The pasuk says taviyu that we quoted before in regard to the shtei alechem. Ribuyahu, and that's a ribuya, and therefore it is mufna even from the tzad of the pasuk of the shtei alechem. And therefore we have a gzera shava, which is mufna from shnei tzadim, and it's something that's foolproof, whereby you can ask the pircha, and indeed we can learn out from the oimer to the shtei alechem. Now ask the Gemara, okay, once we have then explained the sheet of Rabbi Eliezer that indeed not everything is going to then go with his klal, that when it comes to machshirei mitzvah, you can go ahead and machalo Shabbos. He had to learn out from Gzera Shav in regards to shtei alechem. What is it coming to exclude? What things can you not machal Shabbos for when doing the machshirei mitzvah? Lemute mai asked the Gemara, what's it come to exclude? Ilema lemute lulav. Is it going to come to explain that it comes to exclude lulav? You can't, let's say, cut the lulav from the tree on Yontif when it comes out to be on Shabbos. On Yontif itself. V'atanya, that can't be because it says lulav v'chol machshirav doichin es haShabbos. Di Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer says you could then go ahead and do machshirin, and therefore if you had only a lulav that was still attached to the tree, you could go ahead and be koitzer, even if it's on Shabbos. Ve'elu lemute sukkah. Maybe you'll say it's coming to exclude sukkah. That when it comes to sukkah, maybe you also need things to cut from the tree or the biniyah of the sukkah itself. V'atanya, sukkah v'kom achshireh doichin es haShabbos. Here also Rabbi Eliezer said it would be permissible to then build the sukkah. It would be permissible to even cut down certain things that you need for the sukkah. Ve'elu lemute matzah. Maybe it comes to exclude matzah. For that you can't do machshirei mitzvah. For example, you wouldn't be able to say grind the wheat, or you wouldn't be able to knead the dough or to bake it. V'atanya, but states matzah v'kol machshireh doichin es haShabbos. Rabbi Eliezer says you can also then do machshirei mitzvah when it comes to matzah. Maybe when it comes to the shofar, which you need to do to fashion into a kli, melach makeh patish. And therefore, that's a machshir mitzvah that he says that you cannot do when it comes out to be on Shabbos. Vatanya, shofar v'chol machshirav, doichin es Shabbos. Di Rabbi Eliezer, he says even that when it comes to shofar, you can go ahead and be doich Shabbos with machshirim. Rav Ade bar Ava lemeutei tzitzis v'letalisoi umezuzah lepischoi. Rather, that which Rabbi Eliezer was referring to, that you cannot then be doich Shabbos with the machshirim, is referring to making tzitzis on Shabbos, putting tzitzis on the beged on Shabbos, a four-cornered garment on Shabbos, and fixing a mezuzah and putting a mezuzah on a doorpost on Shabbos. Tanya Nami Hochem, we also have a brisa that supports that this is indeed the machshirin that Rabbi Eliezer is usher to then do on Shabbos. The Shavin, it states, she'im tziyes talisoi v'asa mezuzah lepischoi shehu chayiv. That means that Rabbi Eliezer agrees when it comes to then making the tzitzis on the beged and making the mezuzah on the doorpost, that would be prohibited to do on Shabbos. That means the machshirei mitzvah is not doiche Shabbos. My time, what's the reason? Why are these two exceptions? When it comes to the other mitzvahs, we say that you could go ahead and then doiche Shabbos, even the machshirim. But when it comes to then the mitzvah of mezuzah and the mitzvah of tzitzis, they are not doiche. Because they don't have a fixed time. When it comes to shofar, it comes out to that Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbos. And so too when it comes to the Sukkot or Pesach, when it falls out on Shabbos. So therefore, you can go ahead and do the machshir with your doiche Shabbos. But when it comes to the tzitzis, the talis, or the mezuzah, they don't specifically fall on Shabbos. And therefore, there's no need to then have the machshir doiche Shabbos. Omar le Abaye adarabah. Abaye says, fakert. From the fact that they don't have a specific time, says Reb Abaye, on top of Kuf Lamed Aleph Amud Beis now, Kol Shaitza v'Shaitza Zmanehu. Then that means that since they don't have a fixed time, then every moment that a person doesn't do the mitzvah, he wears dalid konfois without the tzitzis, or he's living in a house without the mezuzah, he's going to be mevatel mitzvahs aseh, of mezuzah or of tzitzis. So therefore, he should be able to then be doiche the Shabbos ayidei the machshir mitzvah, because he does have a chiyuv on those days of Shabbos, even though when it comes to the mitzvah of mezuzah and tzitzis, which is all the time. Elo Rav Nachman, Rav Yitzchok, v'item Rav Huna bar Rav Yoshua, hoyel ubiyodoi lahafkiron. Because it's in his ability to mafkir the beged, or to mafkir the house, therefore, he would not have a mitzvah upon him, because when it comes to the beged, the pasuk says ksuscha. When it comes to the house, it says beisecha, and therefore only when it's your house or your beged are you chayiv to then put tzitzis on the beged or put a mezuzah on the doorpost. But with the absence of that, because you're mafkir it, then you have no chiyuv to put a mezuzah on the doorpost, and you have no mitzvah to put tzitzis on the beged. It's not your beged, and therefore that's why the machshirei mitzvah are not doiche Shabbos.